Hello, good morning, and welcome back to Reaper Pro Tips with me, your host, and Disembodied Hands Queen Quindy, and our wonderful and devoted servitors, Justin and John. And yeah, I gave Kiki a bully stick and it worked, so I'm keeping the door open, but yeah, she's distracted. No Kiki sighting for right away in the morning today. Milestone achieved. 3 consecutive streams this month and sparked a watch streak, Crowley Hamster. The hamster is watching. Oh, tea and Pepto does sound like a terrible combination. Ugh. Oh, no, yeah. And sometimes the stupid thing about those stupid GI things is, and I speak from experience because of what I have, is you have to wait them out. Eat bland things, or just drink water at first. But yeah. It means you're a devoted watcher of our wonderful show. Knowledge is osmosing into your brain. This is good, right? But yeah, so there we are. Hi, everyone. I am a little bit sleepy today. I did not have great sleeps last night. I had to figure it out. Probably, I don't know. It's weird when you start trying to figure out what impacts your sleep, and usually it's just the most stupid obvious thing, which is, stress or something. It's probably new. Yeah, Twitch has been trying to more than 3 in a row before. Ah, okay. Huh. Yep. Rando things they implement randomly. Yeah. It's like they're trying to regain their market share and haven't realized that, guys, it's after the pandemic. People have to work again. Oh, yeah. Let's get Sophie in focus. There we go. Our lovely Sophie. And let's get out our colors and start mixing. The Keeker is nomming on her bully stick. I can hear her in the back. Maybe she will make an appearance later. Okay, so we need Nightmare Black, blue liner, and white. Today I have my writing coaching. The fun thing about the coaching that this organization does is that all of their coaches are also published writers. They're all professional writers, plus coaches. Oh, hi, Kiki. Did you come to say hello? Kiki, did you want to say hello to people? Kiki, come on, say hello to people. Can you get up? Good girl. There's our Keeker. There's our Keeker visitation. Good girl. Yeah. The noble Keekster. Also the goofy Keekster. Okay, go get back to your bully. You going to sit in here and chew? You can sit in here and chew. That's fine. Until you become annoying, then we aren't going to allow you back in here. Oh dear, dropping her bully on the floor. Lately, she's realized she can make loud noises by holding one end of the bully stick, grabbing the other end with her mouth, and letting it go. She's like a 2-year-old. She really is. Really 2-year-old. So I'm going to keep the door open. We'll see if I regret it. All right, so we were using a 2-to-1 mix of blue liner and Nightmare. And the reason we were doing that is because blue liner gives you a lot more of a grayed out blue, and Nightmare gives you that very punchy blue. I wanted it to be definitively blue more than a blue-gray, but I didn't want it to go super bright blue when I added white, which is what just using pure Nightmare would do. So that's why I would use a mixture of these. The other things that are interesting about mixing these 2 colors is that the blue liner, of course, is a little bit translucent, and the Nightmare Black adds more coverage, because it has a lot of high density pigment in it. So 2-to-1 blue liner to the Nightmare. So I'm just going to do, because I know I'm going to be mixing highlights to this, I'm just going to double that formula. 4-to-2. Pretty Kiki, who is still at times a demon dingo. She's definitely in the acting out phase of her existence. She's even been pulling more with David on walks lately, she's testing it. So I'm going to have to go back to backing up. I was having to do a lot of that yesterday on our walk. It's like all their brain cells disappear temporarily and then they have to rebuild when they hit around this stage. Hello, Twisted Oma. Yeah, happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. I think about goals a lot this morning because I finished I have these journals that are 100-day goal journals. And so my goals tend to evolve as I work through the 100 days, and I usually only do it on the weekdays. So it's actually more than 3 months that it goes through. But it's just interesting to me, and this applies to mini painting, of course, as it always does with goal setting. Sometimes people will tell you that you must set specific goals and they must be actionable. And this is generally good advice. However, if you are a person who has a very chaotic and busy life, what this may do is backfire on you. So like, maybe you're like, okay, I want to start a painting habit. So I'm going to set a goal for myself. I need to get, I want to get 1 model done a week, whatever. But then you keep missing it. And as you keep missing your goal, you feel worse and worse about yourself and your hobby and everything else. So I had a kind of insightful as I was flipping through my past journal because I was about to start a new one today. And I landed on a page where it's like, is it really that important to set a concrete goal, or is it more important to just say, I want to make a little progress on my goal every week or every day or every, 2 weeks or whatever you want to say, right? Like, is it really that important? So ask yourself that if you find that, because with me, I do find that if I set a specific goal, but then I don't make it, it really impacts me. Like, I start stressing out about it. I start kind of going, couldn't you even do this one thing? Right? I have a nasty, nasty internal voice, internal critic. And so that's something to remember, that maybe sometimes, depending on your situation, it's more important to just say, you know what? I want to work on my book today, for example, for me. I want to get a little bit done on Anubis tonight, before we play video games. Oh yeah, I mean, I alter my goals all the time, but it's like, well, but it's important too, right? For a lot of people, it is important to have specific and measurable, because if you don't have that, then some people's brains will essentially go, but it wasn't a real goal, right? Because they didn't know, you have no way then of measuring if you got it done, right? So whatever you do, like getting a little bit of progress in on the mini tonight is a specific actionable goal, but it doesn't tie you down, right? It doesn't super tie you down. All you have to do is sit down for 5 minutes. You probably can manage that. And yeah, if you skip it one day, that's fine. If you find that you miss a day every once in a while, that's peachy and you should just move on and try the next day. But if you notice that you're doing it a lot, if you have a life that's full of other stuff that is also high priority for you, then be careful of that inner critic voice. Yeah, commitment-based goals rather than results. Yes. Yeah, want to work on a mini twice. Yes, exactly. And Rhonda's a very smart person because she's, fighting with the overwhelm and the crazy right now too. Yeah. Yeah, it is. Although, it depends. It can be hard. It's hard for me because I'm trying to set up with writing is an important dream to me, right? So it's like a dream I've had since I'm little. So it's very, very hard to just say, stuff happens. Because to part of me, my writing is the most important thing in my life. So then it's hard. And it's also fundamental to realize that you've got your personality is made up of all different parts of your brain, and they all think different things are important. So we're just set up for internal conflict, right out the gate. This is the weirdest thing about brain science. If you have not read about this, you should. And maybe I'll look up the exact reference, the book that was published about it. But essentially, all those voices you have in your head, they're real. Because your brain, your personality is actually made up, not of just your brain, not of just yourself, but of all the different parts of your brain arguing about what is most important. So if you ever wondered why you have some internal conflict, guess what? Your brain really is talking to you in different voices. Yeah. Yeah, no, don't beat yourself up. I know I'm saying that is very easy, but yeah, that's where, like this morning, I was just feeling fried because I didn't get great sleep. I couldn't get to sleep right away, and I was just like annoyed at myself, and I had to stop and kind of make myself do a mental reset. I had to say, no, this is a brand new day. You've got a lot of time to work on stuff that you love. You know, you have a lot of time. It's gonna be fun tonight. You're gonna cook a new thing for dinner. You know, just kind of talk myself out of the beat up talk. And if you stop and you make that effort, you usually can overpower that part of your brain, right? You can just say, no, let's focus on the good stuff. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Babatuk. I agree that it is. And it depends, like, it just depends on you. Like, some people are really achievement based, right? They they really focus on that goal, and getting things done for them is a function of having specific actionable goals. And if they don't have that, they get frustrated, right? So pay attention just to how you feel. Like, try different things. Try setting different types of goals and see how do you feel when you accomplish it, and how do you feel when you don't accomplish it, like, right, like, and kind of like find your happy metric in there. It really is like Inside Out. I mean, and that's actual brain science now, guys. It's actual brain science. So when you really don't want to eat the donut, but part of you is like, oh, I really want that donut, it's not actually you that wants the donut. It's your whiny brainstem. Your whiny brainstem that thinks if you don't have sugar, you're gonna starve this winter. Like, seriously, it is. And I've had some success losing weight by recasting the internal voice that wants the donut or the chocolate or the whatever into the whiny brainstem, imagining my whiny brainstem as a person, and just like getting really irritated with it. So yeah. Yes, Squindy, exactly. Yeah, you actually like felt like getting a mini out of a box and looking at it. No, that's good. That's great. The next step would be to, like, put it somewhere you could look at it every morning, and maybe start thinking about maybe what color you might want to make its hair, that kind of thing. But it really is like, yeah, right, Kroniko, right? And that's the whiny brainstem. The whiny brainstem is whining at you. Yeah, you're gonna starve this winter without that donut. Yeah, it's convinced. It's like, yep, survival mechanism, here I am. And it's really strong because it's a survival mechanism. So just like kind of glaring at the whiny brainstem, I feel like we should all, like, our whiny brainstem is like a lion, and we have to like get our chair and our whip and go, no, back, get away from the donut. I got very disgruntled this morning. There are more than one disgruntlement, this morning, but because like my scale broke. So I had to and I was on the, weigh every day kind of thing. It keeps me a little bit accountable. And I stepped on, got the new scale and stepped on it. It was very displeased. So now I'm like grumble. So yeah, me and the brainstem, we're about to be at war. Okay, let's see here. Okay, now I need to mix a new puddle of this and add some white to it. And the reason we do this is because as we're working with this very, very transparent color here, because it is translucent, when we pull it out over the palette, you can see it has some coverage, but you can also see that lovely, vibrant blue translucency. Oh, yeah, I believe it, Grey Wolf. Yeah. Well, and it's not just one internal voice, it's several. Like, there's the internal voice that's in your, like, your smart and modern brain. That's like, no, we seriously need to lose weight because we'll sleep better and we'll feel better and we'll be able to, like, run with our dogs and we'll be able to do this and that. And we really want that, right? But then the survival mechanism of the lizard brain takes over, and it's like, but you need that donut. You really need the donut. It is the whiny brainstem. I'm going to just make its voice whiny from now on. Me. Seriously. Out of your comfort zone. Yeah. You want to paint a nice, easy dragon. Well, you know what? Those out of your comfort zone things can also be good for teaching you what you really don't want to paint. So, make a note. Oh, I got a Kiki back here chewing. Right, right. And need is a really strong word there because it really is just you. You don't need them. Your whiny brainstem thinks you need them. Stupid whiny brainstem. I'm just going to start saying stupid whiny brainstem aloud when it wants me to eat some chocolate. Seriously. Train with a number 10 brush. That sounds like so fun and relaxing, Inara. And you know, a quarter of the donut, like, also sets you up for failure. That's the problem. That's the hard part. Like, honestly, when I'm on keto, I don't even crave the sweets. But then I have to be on keto, and that involves more tracking and more, you know, stuff. But I'm thinking about it. I'm seriously thinking about it again. Because the problem is I have a sweet tooth. And if I activate that sweet tooth, even a little, it gets harder to resist the whiny brainstem, not easier. All right, so 2 drops of water. It's like 3 to 1. I'm adding 1 drop of white. The reason we're adding that white is just like with blues. If you guys are on my Patreon, patreon.com/paintingbig, you know I did a PDF on blues and how to work with them easier, how to make them highlight nicer. And this is a blue, so we're adding a little bit of white. It doesn't change the color a lot. And I can still shade down with this, so I'm good. But this adding this little bit of opacity here, you can see that it's not as see-through. And essentially it will help me layer up highlights easier. If the brainstem could drive to the store without the rest of me. That would be dangerous because then your brainstem would be like, it would be bringing home like boxes of chocolate croissants and, you know, like elephant ears and apple fritters and, you know, like all of the Easter candy. All of the Easter candy would appear on your counter. Like, the whiny brainstem, it would not stop. It would be like, it would not stop at a box of donuts. It would buy everything. Right. Yeah, Small F Sam. It's real. Like, it's kind of crazy. It's why I'm tuning back my carbs again today. Cause yeah, when I'm on the keto, I can look at a box of donuts and I can lean over them and smell them and I won't even want one. It's like the keto kind of shuts off the cravings because my blood sugar evens out and I don't have those. Blood sugar definitely tied to cravings because those hormones, it affects your hormones, your hunger hormones. Crazy science. That's the one thing Noom did for me. Like, it worked a bit. I lost like 12 pounds on Noom. It's that online app-based, you know, kind of thing. But it did educate me a lot about food science and why, right? It was very good for the why of food science. And some people do very well on Noom. So it makes them more mindful and they understand what's going on with their body and everything. And that gives them the tools they need. So 2 brushfuls of this plus 2 drops of white to build the highlight. And I just had it for 3 months to do the program and then I canceled it with the Noom. But it taught me a lot about why cravings happen. So that did help me. It still does help me when I remind myself. Right. Well, I think though you're kind of meant to drop out of it, Kodiak. It's meant to give you the tools so that you can work with yourself, right? And I'm considering re-signing up just as a reminder for myself, right? It's nice because it gives you those nice things to read every day that refocus you on your goals. And it teaches you the science of like why it's so hard to do this stuff. So, I mean, if it's successful every time you do it, like, you know, that's okay. It doesn't mean you failed. I'm going to get these guys just a little more thin and then we're good. Yeah, that's the problem, right? And that's the problem with weight loss. And it's the reason that it's so hard to make it work is that it isn't just when you lose the weight. It's that when you put those reins, to quote Noom, if you put those reins on your elephant and you become the rider, you can't just drop the reins again. You have to stay mindful or you're just going to gain weight back. Like, I have gained back weight since I dropped all the weight, like the 65 plus pounds that I dropped. I've gained back some of it. But there was a point that I set for myself, and this is why I was weighing myself every day. I'm like, no, nothing above this weight. Nothing above this weight, or it's on, right? And I've stuck to that. But now, since the scale got broken, now I'm a little bit above that point, and that's why I'm like, "Urgh!" You know. See if you can catch it. They do specials every once in a while, Agent Marvel. If you keep an eye on it, Like, if you look at it, like, they'll usually send you a deal. I think it's worth it for the 3 months to just cancel. It's not worth it. There are other calorie tracking programs I like better. So honestly, I like some things about Nooms, but Fitbit works just as well for me. But if you want to learn a lot of cool food science and you want to like try a different way of thinking about things, if you can put aside the cash, I know it's still money, right? But keep an eye out to see if they'll send you special offers if you look at their site. Nice, Inara. Yeah, that seems like good goal setting. Oh, yeah. Yeah, baking shows are like that, right? What I've come to is okay, I really like looking at that thing on the baking show. I wonder if I can make it low carb, right? Low carb with less sugar. So that helps me on that. Malcolm will not reach China. Malcolm probably wouldn't care. Unless Malcolm really doesn't like water. Yeah, I mean, the nice thing, like I said, that Noom doesn't work for everybody, right? The nice thing about it for me was that every day when I took my walk after stream, I would read my Noom lessons, and that was right before I ate lunch, and so it would keep me on track for the day. It definitely also got me in the habit of taking 2 walks a day, which actually was a game changer in regulating my weight. Like getting in 10,000 steps a day instead of only 6,000 actually did make a huge difference. I found that I could slip off my diet a little bit and I would be okay still as long as I was putting in the steps. Oh, Malcolm loves water? Well, then he's definitely going to keep digging down to the Indian Ocean. In fact, he's probably even happier now. It backfired, Pendrake. It backfired. Oh, need to paint now. Come on. I guess that depends. Like, and again, right, it's the question of, do you just want to work on something every day, or do you want to finish stuff on a schedule, and what's important to you and what makes sense? So I've got all my colors here, and I also just mixed a highlight, but I think it's a little strong, so I'm going to take that down. There's a lot of white in there, and so it really needs a lot of water in it so that it's blendable. Oh, did you hit horrible sickness, Pendrake? Or was it a keto sploosh? Because that happens, though 10 pounds is a lot. But with keto, your body tends to like try to hang on to water for a while as you're losing weight. And then you can lose like 4 pounds or 5 pounds at a go, just whoosh. You'll be peeing all day, but you will lose it. Animal Adventures. Yeah, I haven't gotten mine. Have not gotten mine, sadly. All right, so now I have to really look at these, and I have to ask myself, how high am I taking all these highlights? So I'm going to take my highest highlight here that I just built, and I'll start mapping this in. I used Lose It for a long time. It's good for calorie tracking. Yeah. Yeah, the thing, and it depends, actually, Pendrake, Lose It is good, so is Fitbit. It depends, like, for me, I eat almost the same thing for breakfast and lunch every day, so it's, after the first few days, it's easy because the app remembers Agent Marvel. So if you normally eat, like, just a couple of different things for breakfast and lunch, it becomes a lot easier because then the thing, it'll just remember it, and I can just click yes, 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 yes on all the things for my lunch and everything. Good. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense because it's just hanging out with friends, right? And I always find I get a lot more done when I was painting with people. That's why I did Paint Club for so long. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah. Make it, one thing I can tell you there is like effort of moving the coffee table, all that kind of thing. Use a habit trigger if you are familiar with the word with the term. So in order for a habit to take root, like moving the coffee table every day to play thing on your Connect, it needs to be easy, accessible, and rewarding. So playing it is obviously rewarding because gaming, right? So moving the coffee table, not too hard, but if there's anything that gets in the way of that, clear it out. And then accessible, easy and accessible also means like leaving out a reminder, like, and that's the habit trigger. So if you leave your Connect controller on the coffee table, like making it just that little bit easy, just so you see it all the time, sometimes that could be a good habit trigger. You look at the Connect, you're like, oh yeah, you move the thing, you play the game. Yeah, that kind of thing. It can really make a difference. One baby kraken. Oh, you were sick. Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's terrible. I had a day like that not too long ago. House Panther. But yeah, so easy and accessible. Like it's like putting, if you want to go running in the morning, putting your running shoes like at the side of your bed so you see them right away, and then that helps to bridge the habit gap. So yeah, leaving your controller and whatever else you need to play the game really accessible right in front of your face for when you're going to play, like at the time. So if you have like a habit of walking through your living room at about the time you were going to do that, then you can set up a series of reminders so that it makes it easier for you. Brain science. Oh boy. No, it's too gray. I would go in with an olive. I would try maybe military green or something like that. Or a little bit of gray, maybe a little bit of the orc skin added into troll hide. Dark elf highlight is so pale and gray that it's almost just a neutral. You almost can't really see the purple. So, especially if you are doing, like, what's the rust color? Like, also the rust color is probably fairly saturated. So that's why I would go with a more saturated green. And how dark is it? Because if your dark elf highlight is really light. Okay, so your dark elf highlight is really light. If your rust color is in the medium range of light dark, then go dark with your olive. Light, medium, dark. It really does help. And that's why I say troll flesh, or troll hide, because it's dark, right? And you can gray it out a little bit, but it depends. Like, rust colors are usually pretty intense, and so you're already kind of like maybe running into a little bit of a question mark there with the dark elf highlight, except that the dark elf highlight is, as I mentioned, it's pale enough that it's probably reading as a neutral. But if you, okay. Yeah, and see, so that's the problem. If you're using a fairly bright rust and you're trying to use the orc skin is so gray. Like, that's right there, they're going to clash, they're going to look awful together. Watch out using those intense colors next to really grayed out colors. If you've got to mute it. You've got to mute it a little bit more. Yeah, or troll hide, honestly, at that point, troll hide itself is going to work great with a rust color, but I think maybe the dark elf highlight is the wrong choice then. Unless it really does read as a neutral, like if you use it as a basis for a white. Concrete. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I would glaze something over it. Yeah, be careful on that. You can make it work, but it takes you really got to watch it when you're working with those neutrals, or with those grayed out colors. So I'm feeling like this is just way too strong here. I'm trying to get these highlights up on the sides, and I'm just like feeling like I went too far. So instead I'm going to work on a little bit of under reflection too with this middle color I've got. Just down here on the bottoms. I may need to switch. I feel like I'm almost on too big of a brush today for my brain. Maybe I need to switch to tiny brush. Because some days and I'm using my DaVinci Maestro, but some days when you're just kind of feeling a little bit impatient, you'll find yourself overloading your brush and getting puddles. And those are the days when you just reach for a smaller brush. Like, even if you normally don't need a smaller brush. Let me find out what find what I've got here for tiny brushes. Yeah, it is. Yeah, and Trollhide is pretty yellowy, so it'll mute down the purple as well. All right, I'm going to use my 000. Kiki has given up on me. All right, so let's try this. I'll make it a little bit easier to keep very little paint on my brush when I'm using the tiny brush. Hey, Shadow Raven. Yeah, so I'm going to set a goal for myself to lose at least 7 pounds over the next 4 months or so, which should be super easy, but I'm making it very, very attainable so I don't fail at it. Very, very attainable. Because it can be hard, you know, those of you who are older like me, you know how hard it can be to lose weight. Even when you're doing all the stuff. And it's just because your body tends to hold on to it more. So just highlighting those little hand bits there. Yeah, I don't know what this week just like flew by. It's like it's like I was in the middle of a tornado and there were just frying pans like flying by my head. And I was ducking them all week. And now the weekend's almost here and I'm just like, what the heck happened? Like, that's how it feels. Yeah, I'm feeling like I'm just like having a hard time with the blending today. Maybe I should just do cloth. I'm gonna grab some white, see if I can bring up these little griefs here. Hey, Keekers, how you doing? Hi. Yeah, good girl. Yeah, I know. Hi, good girl. Where's your bully? Where's your bully stick? You a good girl? Mm-hmm. Silly doglet. Lady Kuro of the House Panthers, yes. I think that's a good one. What are you doing? I have to watch her when she's wandering around in my office. Go settle down, little paw. All right, I want some pure white. I feel like I want to be working on a bigger model today instead of tiny, precise model. But it is what it is. Hi there, Pa. Yeah, Papa. Little tiny Papa. How'd you get so little? Oh, yeah. No, everybody else thinks you're a monster. Everybody else thinks you're a monster. They can't even see your curly eyebrows, which are really ridiculous, by the way, that you have curly eyebrows. It is. It's kind of ridiculous. No, you cannot eat my brush. No eating the brush. Nope. Yep, little paw. Tiny little paw. Such a tiny dog. The funny thing is she is tiny compared to all my other Shilohs. So I'm sitting here trying to make everything work on this brush. This is a problem with little brushes, folks. You've got to have more thinner paint, more fluid on the brush. Yeah. I keep checking her paws because she We walk a lot on concrete when we take our walk, and every time I check her claws, they don't seem that long. And last time we tried to trim them, David actually got her quick. And so I'm like, well, maybe I don't know when we need to trim her paws. I mean, I can hear some clicks. So I'm like, well, maybe something needs to be trimmed. But then I check them, and I'm just like, what? So I'm not sure where the clicking is coming from. I need to look at her paws. Oh, she did too have little paws. I always used to call, my dogs little tiny dogs. Mostly as a joke, but also because there's this phenomenon we call it Shiloh colored glasses, where your Shiloh looks perfectly reasonable sized, but then you look at every other dog and every other dog looks tiny. Because you've just acclimated to how big your dog is. All right, so there we go. Now we're getting a little bit better here. Yeah, it's true, Hyper Bunny. And then you just kind of have to forgive yourself and heal up. Hey, enough. 1 second, guys. The Kiki just got herself kicked out. You're ejected. You are ejected. Yep. You're done. Bye. You and your bones. You and your bully sticks. Get out of town. When she starts pawing at the knots in the floor next to the gate on my side is when she gets kicked out. But yeah, you can't really do a lot about that, like you said, Hyper. Like, the only thing that you might be able to do, because it's kind of, the way I've read it's regenerative, is like stationary bike. Once your knee is good enough for that. Like, if you want to ease back into exercise. Reclining bike actually is what my physical therapist recommended. My problem with it was that it's really hard to get your heart rate up with it. Yeah, Shadow Raven, that's funny. Yeah, right. Because if you're walking, especially on cement where it's rough, right? And Kiki pulls, so she digs her claws into the concrete. So she's grinding them down a bit on her own. She doesn't get a couple hours a day. She gets about an hour of walks a day. I don't know. I just have to take a closer look at her paws. So just little tiny. At this point, we're just seeing the angles. And remember, we did paint the upper surface a little bit lighter, but really it's just with our first highlight. So we're keeping our highlights very narrow because we have to keep a lot of dark in order to have the armor look like blue-black. Progress is very slow. Yeah. That sucks when that's happen. I mean, I've ended up, after my surgeries, each of my surgeries, I was on bed rest for like a week or two where I was mostly bed rest. I was supposed to be more bed rest than I was. It gets old fast, and it's very frustrating. That's when I got my Overwatch addiction. Forget which surgery it was. It was surgery number 2 or 3 was when Overwatch came out. And I fell in love with it because it saved my sanity. So I got a gaming laptop and I just sat in bed, propped myself in bed and played the game. But yeah, I hope it doesn't drive you too crazy and that you can just keep seeing progress, Hyper Money. Sometimes that's like the only thing that keeps you sane, is knowing that there's progress. Knees are rough, backs are rough, all that sort of thing. My mom just had back surgery at the beginning of the winter, and she was super frustrated. She's a walker, and she couldn't do a lot. And she's a very active person, so she was very frustrated about it. What is it with cats and bottle caps? So I'm going to put a tiny little white highlight there. I think I do need a darker shadow on either side of it, though. It's running into that this greave a little bit too much. So this is, when you're doing a really dark NMM, this is a precision game. Because your highlights have to be so small, and they have to be exactly placed right, and you have to still keep a lot of shadow. So you're doing tiny sharp highlights to try to convey the information, and it can get frustrating because it is very much a matter of tiny little brush strokes. Doing an NMM like this is probably a little bit easier on a bigger model. So if you did it on a 54 or a 72, it would probably be easier to practice this. All right. We're getting there. We're now making progress. I worked on my proof edits yesterday, and I was so frustrated, guys. Like, the first day the first real big day I made a lot of progress, but if I think back, that was when I was in Arizona, and I had pretty much the whole day to work on it. So I think I expected to get like a lot, like get it almost done yesterday, and I only got a few chapters, and it was so frustrating. I'm like, come on, this should not be taking this long. And if I'm being reasonable, I'll admit to myself that it's not just that I'm reading the book, right? It's that I'm reading the book with very close attention because I'm trying to catch every last thing that might show up in the print format that needs to be corrected, right? So it's like, it's not even reading for just enjoyment. It's reading for content, right? It's reading for with close attention, which is always slower. And oh, good. But you made the will save, so that's great, Korniko. I have to I'm using a glaze to fade that highlight in a little bit on the shoulder. Yeah, exactly. And that's just what I need to remind myself, Korniko. I'm just so impatient. I'm like, this was supposed to be done before, and you know, that goes back to what I said about the beginning of the stream, the danger of setting a concrete deadline when you have a life that tends to be full of crap that is going to intrude on your hard deadline. Well, that and I couldn't know, right? Having never done this before. And that's another thing. If you've never painted a dragon before, don't set yourself a deadline to finish the dragon because you have no idea how long it's going to take. And my book is definitely the dragon I'm fighting right now, where it's like I had expectations because I'm a very fast reader, very fast, but I'm not fast when I care and when I'm trying to notice things that I need to fix. So yeah, part of me is just impatient and wants this book out so that I can stop thinking about it, because I've been in this mind zone of like, God, I've got to stop thinking about this book for months. So yeah, and I know that it's going to get done when it gets done, and that's just it. And you can tell yourself that all day, but then you're still going to be frustrated, right? I can see that though, Hyper Bunny. I mean, everything is connected. My physical therapist taught me that. Like, if your knee is out, then your hip is out, then your back is out, because it's thrown your body off balance, right? And so parts of your body are trying to compensate for that knee. But that can cause its own problems. Yeah, I totally get it. I'm so sorry you're having to go through that. That's got to be super frustrating. Hello, Roger. If you do have to use a wheelchair at ReaperCon, Hyper Bunny, you are required to thoroughly trick that sucker out in ribbons. Like, everybody should give you ribbons so that you can, like, you know, have the longest, like, ribbon tail, badge tail. And you should trick it up so you can drape it across your wheelchair. Like, make it fun. Make it fun. I know it's not ideal, but make it fun if you have to. Ha! I'm running out of things to buy, but not to paint. Yeah, Thormel. I've been trying really hard not to go online and see new things. I still have another model. I still have models that David bought me that I haven't started yet. So, and I try to always, when my beloved buys me a mini, I try to prioritize it. So we've got the highlights coming up here, guys. I'm kind of making them a little bit of an hourglass shape because these are interestingly shaped shoulder pads. They're kind of flat and the edge flares out. Yeah, Kiki likes foil too. That's why I have to watch it when David gives her one of his coffee cans, which are mostly cardboard, but they're foil covered cardboard on the inside. And she just wants to eat that stuff. I've warned him that if there's sparkly poop, it's his fault. Lately I've been reading a lot. I have fallen aside in my painting for a little bit. And I've been reading more in the evenings. A little bit of highlight here just to make the light come right down the shoulder. It must be high fiber if it's sparkly, Cornico. Wood I understand for dogs, but not for cat. Because wood is kind of nature's teething material, right? Kiki loves sticks. She loved them more when she was actually teething, but... So I'm trying to make that kind of fall in the line there. And I need an under reflection here. I also need this elbow. I need to watch it though, because you can see as my highlights get brighter, the armor changes color. So I need to make sure that I'm still keeping a fair amount of dark. Just like unicorn. Tinsel poop at Christmas, do not recommend. Oh man. Yeah, we put the X pen as a barrier around the Christmas tree. Kiki was way too young to respect it at that age. Way too young. So down on the bottom here, this is definitely going to be an under reflection. It's not going to be a real highlight. So we're still going to put some down there. We're not going to bring it up to the level that it is on the upper. This is kind of a rounded piece here, so you can see the top highlight right there, then a band of shadow, then that under highlight. Yeah. Kiki loves like really stiff big leaves too. Oh, yuck, Hyper Bunny. Oh no. I would have been so worried about blockages. You're lucky that it went through in shreds. So I'm going to go in under, highlight down here, kind of layer it up, using the tiny brush still. So you can see that bounced highlight on the bottom. It's pretty subtle, but it's there. Yeah, entire cat toys, yep. Yep. It's dangerous and can be expensive. That was Harvey, the atrocious golden from our last apartment, the apartment we lived in. The worst golden retriever ever. She ate, I think 3 times she ended up in the surgery before she was like 10 months old. People underestimate what their dog will eat. And their cat, probably. Oh. So a little bit of that under, see that highlight down there? Oh, Kiki, it's not an axe murderer. It's somebody putting their bins back in. I know, it's terrible. It's terrible that these noises are happening. Mysterious noises. There. So we can still see the edge down there. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we just use our permanent bags, our reusable bags. I've gotten very good about remembering to take them to the store. I was terrible about it for the longest time. But I like my bags so much more than the grocery store bags that it helped me remember. Because I have the ones that kind of have a hard, they'll open and they're square or rectangular, and a hard piece will flip down, so it gives them a bottom, so they actually have stability, so that I can pack so much into them compared to a regular grocery bag. And they're more stable. They don't break. They're like stitched cloth. They're very nice bags. They're by a company called Earthwise, I think. So that helped me to remember those. And then I don't have to get the stupid plastic bags. Hi there, little dog. Can you settle? You're not coming in, no. Because you're a menace. You are a menace, Keeker. You need to settle down. Oh, no. Oh, yeah. Korniko for sure. Just a little bit of highlight down here. So yeah, so we got pretty good down through here. We see the shine. It definitely looks shiny, so that's great. A cat would probably love my grocery boxes because they are really boxes. They would probably love to sit in them just like a regular box, but at least they wouldn't be able to eat them. Or at least not eat pieces off of them. The stitched cloth makes it a lot harder. Kiki could probably chew one up if I ever left them out, but I'm good about putting them away. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's what David uses. The Trader Joe's tote bags. Alrighty, so let's do the breastplate there. And then we'll refine the leg and then we'll see how this all looks. Just takes it as a challenge. That's funny. Getting frame drops again? Ugh. Ugh. Hold on, let me get rid of this. No, I've got no alerts. Oh, this is a tabard. It comes down from here. It's a tabard that comes down from up here and it goes down behind the belt and it comes out on the bottom. So it's just cloth. Missed him. It's a little wider at the bottom than it is up here, but that's to be expected, I think. But I can see a little fold of it right here, and I think these are belts that are just like coming between it, so I'm going to paint it as a tabard. Hello, Dogfather. Thank you. Oh, triple sub-anniversary, triple sub-anniversary, triple sub-anniversary. Happy triple sub-anniversary. There you go. Been a while. Been a while since I've sung the song. It looks vaguely awkward. I don't know. But without it, you wouldn't have anything to break up all the metal here. I can see why he did it, or why Talon. It's probably Talon art, right? Why Talon would have done it. And now I'm thinking that this down here maybe isn't cloth, but it's actually a leather skirt because I can see the padding, which I didn't notice before. So I'm thinking this might be actually the only cloth on the figure. But I'm not sure. I probably want to make the padding still red. Well, I mean, it gives an okay opportunity for freehand. I wouldn't say a good one, Shadow Raven, because it's so tiny. You could do very simple freehand on it. Very, very simple. But nothing too complex. Speaking of which, I got my armor color on top of it. A good opportunity for freehand is much larger than this. Like, usually you won't even see me attempt freehand on something like this because in my mind it's like not ideal. I could do a fleur-de-lis and that would be about it. Like that's the extent of how complex I could make it. So I feel like it's a like maybe it's not so much an opportunity for freehand as an opportunity to add some color, right? Because otherwise you've got a lot of metal here, a lot of metal. And this is Dungeoneer Sophie, so you know you could give her an adventuring party sigil if you really wanted to. But like, I don't think I could fit the Vox Machina symbol on here, right? So like, I don't know. I feel like it's just not a like you could do like a chevron or something like that, but. Yeah, you could do diamonds. You could do diamonds or chevrons or checkerboard if you really want to. Although, you want to keep it simple because everything else here is so complex that when you throw another complex in the middle of it, then it's like a little bit too much. Right, exactly. Big Chimpo's got it. So like, if you find that and the thing is that there's a lot of very nice folds sculpted into this, so just the shading and highlighting alone will make this look nice. But you could put an edge on it or something if you wanted to. Like, it is a good opportunity, as I said, to carry color down through the model. So, but yeah, freehand is tricksy. You don't really want to do it on something small like this. Unless it's like a shoulder pad on, you know, like, and you're trying to do some sort of unit marking or something like that. Yes. That's funny, missed him. now I want to put little flowers on it. So we're going to block in the top of the breastplate here with a round highlight. Right, and color's fine, but yeah, that's why I wouldn't necessarily do freehand on it. I'd take the opportunity to provide an accent color, but not do freehand. In my opinion, the only places on like 28 mil where it's really logical to do the freehand is capes and dresses, because you have more room. This isn't a lot of room. But yeah, you could do simple stuff. It's just going to be yet another piece of detail in a very detailed mini. So kind of weigh whether you really want it, because it might not be worth the work. That's funny. So I was looking up those keto, the keto wheat flour that they have now. Quote unquote keto. It's not really keto. It is low carb. I tried a pack of tortillas from it, because otherwise it's the only ones I can do are like the egg ones, which expire too fast. I like them just fine, but they expire. They're too perishable. We don't have tacos or burritos that often. Yeah, I like the egg white wraps. Yep. Yeah, they just expire a lot, and I don't have a lot of tacos this season, right? Summer is more like when we do, because I'll do fish tacos a lot in the summer. Burrito Thursday. We went to Chipotle the other night, but I only get a salad bowl. Highlight. Now I need a reflection. Right, yeah. Yeah, that works just fine, because then you just make a whole mess of like fillings, right? And you just have that for several nights in a row. That was, it was simpler when I lived alone. I'll give it that. I kind of miss being able to just like do that sort of thing. Now, only my biggest batches get more, like when I make a huge batch of chili, I can eat, we can eat it for 3 meals, but having 2 people consumes things so much faster. All right, so I'm getting that highlight in there. You can see on the breastplate. Nice. Burrito Thursday. All right, I'll give it to you guys. I'm probably not going to join you in that, because I'm going to make. I'm excited. I got some bone-in chicken thighs last night and prepped them to marinate, and now I'm going to do them in the air fryer. Because I was going to make us chicken wings, but wings can be really high calorie, and you always eat more than one of them. And so I thought, well, let's just take the garlic parmesan sauce I was going to use on the wings and do fried chicken thighs in the air fryer instead, and then toss the thighs in the garlic parmesan sauce. And I think they're going to turn out really well. Like, I bet I can get a really good brown on them. So I'm going to kind of work with the, I've got a couple of air fryer chicken thigh recipes. So I should be able to get a really good golden fried surface on them. Nice, Tristoma. Hello, Val. Yeah, exactly. Keto. Woo. Keto for the win. And nobody understands how you can lose weight on that diet. But I did it. 65 pounds worth of it. Just gets harder as you get lower weight. Because then you actually have to watch the calories. And that's hard. That's harder. All right, so a little bit of highlight down there. Now we're looking, and from this angle especially, we're looking pretty good. Uh-oh, lag spike. Yeah, that's what I was reading in our. No, Twitch is twitchy these last couple days. It's not just you. Twitch is terrible these last couple days. I shouldn't say that too loud or it'll get more terrible. So yeah, that's looking pretty good. That's looking pretty good there. Okay. Yeah, sorry guys. Sorry Twitch is being so twitchy the last couple days. Normally it's me apologizing for my crappy Comcast internet, but this time it's not that. Get these little arrowhead shaped pieces here. All right, I want to look at that. Yeah, that's definitely a plate here, so I need a light. Need some light. So just pretty much lining up this highlight here, just above the highlight on the knee, to convey that information that the light is coming down that way. Oh yeah, wings. I know. I eat way too many. Yeah, I like Buffalo Wild Wings. I like all their sauces. Although the Parmesan garlic sauce they have is one of my faves, and that's the one I'm basing tonight's dinner on. David has never had it and he doesn't know I'm trying something new, so we'll see if he likes it. Yeah, that's huge. I like Buffalo Wild Wings because I can just get 6. But one chicken thigh is a little bit better on the calories, so that's why I decided to do it this way. I can still get the flavor and the sauce without having to go too crazy on the calorie count. Yeah, garlic parmesan are really good. Really, I love flats. I hate the drumettes. See, we would be very compatible wing people. Great Wolf. That's like you've got to have like in the party at the table you have to have at least one person who likes drumettes and one person who likes flats to counter each other, right? Yeah, Korean, yep. Yeah, and it depends, right? Like some of those sauces I really like, but they're sugary, so I have to avoid them. Because Wings was one of my go-to keto places, because you could just get the wings and then you get the ranch or the blue cheese with the celery or the carrots to dip in, and you've got a pretty good keto meal, all things considered, and a salad if you really want one. And it's pretty easy because the nutritional information is very accessible for various wing places, usually. But yeah, the Korean sauces and stuff that might have like sweetener or sugar added, I have to make myself because then I can substitute erythritol or something for at least part of the sugar. But yeah, weirdly, supper is the place that I find it easiest to trim calories. So I'm That's why I'm going. Because breakfast, I really like my breakfast the way it stands, and lunch is actually my hungry meal of the day. But supper, I find that I'm pretty happy with a smaller supper often. Yeah, I only use monk fruit in my my tea in the morning because, yeah, like you say, leftovers isn't as good. I have to watch my erythritol lately because it irritates my gut a bit, so I had to cut back on it, which means cutting back on a lot of the baking I do. But you know what? That's not terrible for me. I can probably afford to not bake as much. Is it now, Anara? Where? Like, whose hazards list? Like, it doesn't surprise me because, like I said, my gut definitely, if I eat too much of it, I can feel it. And my gut is very sensitive. Oh, last few days about erythritol. How long was the study? And actually, I'll just look it up. I'm sure I can find it. I mean, it's alcohol sugars, right? So there had to be something about it, or my gut wouldn't have been triggered off of it. I can do very small amounts of it, and I'm fine. Yeah, essentially it replaced Splenda because Splenda's bad for you. Everything is bad for you. Anything that's low carb is typically, but still sweet, is typically going to have erythritol as a sweetener. A lot of diet sodas switched to it, I think. Although a lot of them still use stevia or Splenda. I don't actually know Splenda. I don't know anymore because there's too much info on that. Stevia maybe. Yeah. Chewing gums and Halo Top ice cream. Yeah, ice cream is actually what triggered my last bad gastro thing. That's how I knew that the erythritol was a no for me now, or only in small amounts. So yeah, I'll go look it up. Thanks for the heads up, Inara. I had already started phasing it down to small amounts, so I always like to look at studies. That's one thing, actually, back on the topic of Noom, that's one thing that Noom was kind of good at, is teaching you how to look at a study to see, like, how many people are in it, who actually did the study, right? What were they objective? Like, you know, that kind of thing. Oh, aspartame is... Oh, really? Aspartame is terrible. It, like, has terrible chemicals in it. Heart attacks and stroke. Interesting. But did they have a control group? Like, I'm just so, like... I like to look at the actual study. I like to see how many people. I like to see what they controlled for, right? And who did it? Who did the study? Yeah, because, you know, you guys know, like, there's so much alarmist reporting out there now. So I like to look at it. And sometimes I'm very happy when I see studies that are independently done and have a good sample size for a good time frame and control well. But yeah, like I said, I've reacted to it, so I'm not surprised that erythritol would have some drawbacks. Yeah, well, look at, like I said, Quindy, look at that study real critically. Always look at studies with a critical eye. But I would say, based on my own experiences with my super sensitive canary, I'm just the mind canary for all of you. Just don't overdo it, I would say, on the erythritol. Like, be real cautious about where you use it. Use it where you need to. I agree to agree. Yeah. See? Since all of us canaries reacting to it. Right. Some bias, well, because it's humans. It's humans. Yeah. The thing that always got me when I was looking at dog studies, somebody would publish a paper and they'd only looked at 24 or 36 dogs. And I would be like, it's not significant. It's not a significant number. 400, 500 people. That's a good number. That's a good number. But yeah, I just love to... I taught myself to look at that because I used to, like, read studies and go, blah, blah, blah. And then people were like, oh, that's a really flawed study. And I was like, oh, I was bad. I was wrong, right? So I started being a lot more critical of. Right. Interesting. Yeah, that would see that, and that commonsensically would make sense to me, Thormill. Interesting. Cleveland Clinic. Oh, interesting. All right, let me just type that into my phone real quick so I can look it up later. I see. Oh, wow. Do they have a link? Study, and it's published in Nature magazine, so. Yeah, I agree that there needs to be more. Yep. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that they produced it through fermenting corn. Interesting. Oh, they added it to blood or to platelets. Interesting. And they said they need more research. Interesting. Very interesting. I'll have to read that through. Yay, science. Can I just say, yay, science. I see. Ah. Interesting, Turgeon. Interesting. Yeah, exactly. Right. I wonder if it's the skin then, Agent Marvel, because almond flour is usually blanched. It usually has the skin removed. I do a lot of almond flour, as y'all know. I really like it. It makes killer muffins. Yeah. Okay, so the study you're looking over so there's different studies. That's what I'm seeing here. Is the Cleveland Clinic is one, and there's other studies, which is not surprising because it takes several years to run these usually, right, to see long-term effects. So cool, I'll look it up. Yeah, the platelet stuff and yeah, behavior stuff. And that's the problem, right? Like when you've got that and it kind of like the article I was just like skimming kind of referred to that. It was like a lot of people who eat these products are obese or they're doing keto because they're trying to diet, things like that. So then you control for BMI, right? If you don't, then it's, that's kind of like hard to judge causality versus correlation. Yeah. Oh, you can always distract me with diet stuff, like food science. Oh yes, that's one of my little happy red buttons. I love to read food science. Thanks for bringing that up, Inara. I'm gonna like do a deep dive into that this afternoon after I'm done with my work. Cause like I said, it caused a really bad reaction in my gut like a couple months ago when I was really sick, like when I couldn't eat or anything like that. I eventually like went back over my food eating dialogue, and I realized that I had ice cream with a lot of erythritol in it, and that was the only difference from anything normal. So is what I ended up blaming it on. And that's the good thing about being somebody like me who eats the same thing every day, more or less, except for suppers. You can usually figure out what screwed you up. Yeah, there's so many variables. Yes, exactly, Agent Marvel. And that's why you need a big sample size. When you have so many variables, and actually it's funny, but the writing behavioral science that I'm following and like get my coaching today for and all that, like that's where they're like, when you have so many individual variables, that's when you need a huge sample size. That's when you need to be following thousands of people. Because at that point, the behavior can, you know, kind of even out a little bit. You're more likely to be able to see a signal in the middle of all that noise. Well, I mean, the exclusion diet is pretty much just eat less, move more, right? That's what we all hate to hear. Yeah, that's kind of where I've gone to. But that's dangerous too. Like I said, if I have even a bit too much of the sugar, it's going to trigger cravings in me, and then I'm just going to have issues. Yeah, so I was playing. I made some keto chocolate chip cookies where I halved the overall sugar, and then replaced half of the halved sugar with erythritol. So it was much reduced on erythritol, like down to a quarter of what it would have been otherwise. So it was a very tiny amount in each cookie. And that seemed to work. They didn't brown quite as well because when you remove the sugar, you remove one of the things that's going to brown the cookie, and they were almond flour, but still worked. Yeah. I'm just kind of avoiding ice cream these days. I was never a big ice cream person, but for some reason over the last couple of years I got more into it. Now I'm kind of backing out of it again. Because of that experience, probably, with me getting sick from it. Yeah. Whatever he has to use. Like some people do see blood sugar spikes and hormone spikes from Splenda, but if you're not using a ton of it, I bet you can. It's all in moderation, right? It all comes back to like, don't go overboard on this stuff. I think I'm just going to have to get very selective about when I have a sweet and what it is. I think that's the answer for me. And I'm going to have to eat it really mindfully so that a little bit isn't enough. And not listen to my whiny brainstem. Remember the whiny brainstem? Yeah, we're back. Full circle. The best painting streams come full circle, just like the best paint clubs always went full circle. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's a hormone. It's ghrelin. It's the hormone that controls appetite. There's another one too. It's not just ghrelin, but it's insulin related. And it depends on the person. That's again where you run into the individual, right? So I'm expanding my highlights here and putting in a little bit of under reflection, kind of moving around the leg, trying to get this side of the model more or less done. It's very shiny, isn't it? Look how shiny it is. Interesting. Agent Langdon. Yeah, I am also lactose intolerant. But I was eating the A2 that doesn't have lactose in it. You do a lot of lactate. The only cheeses, I tend to eat cheeses that are goat or sheep milk, and that doesn't seem to trigger my my lactose. It's very mild at this point in my life. Like if I ate anything from Dairy Queen, I'm gonna like feel terrible, but that's just too much ice cream. But if I eat small amounts of cheese, it really doesn't do anything. I have sheep's milk feta on my lunch every day, and I don't feel anything. So we are doing a little bit. That one got a little bit out of control. Blorf. Yeah. Yeah, I like Parmesan and Pecorino Romano, and those hard cheeses tend to have less lactose. And of course, the sheep's and goat's milk cheeses, Pecorino being one of them, don't react usually as much. There we go. It's the one that doesn't. Yeah, I thought I think it's A1 and A2, but I thought A2 did not. Easy Google search. I ate the ice cream that does not have lactose. Yeah, but we have lactose. There we go. Maybe Twitch is lactose intolerant. Oh, that was bad. Sorry, Twitch. Not really sorry. Oh, Kiki is barking, is woofing at me again to say, there are noises outside. They're sus. Sus noises, mama. Oh, you're right, Kiki. Kiki said it was 11:02. She was right. Yeah, I can't take regular soda anymore. I just drink sparkling water now. That was one of the best things I ever did for myself, was getting rid of diet soda. Getting rid of soda and then getting rid of diet soda out of my diet. I lost weight from that alone. And now I can drink the waters without any sweetener in them, and I'm perfectly happy with them. So managed to train my palate that way. Late last year I started switching it. Because before that I was adding a little bit of stevia to my waters to make them just a little sweet. All right, let's get these highlights in a row. Kind of getting these guys set up down here. Wow, big chimpo. Yeah, I can't. I have, because my guts are so sensitive, I have to actually ration how much water. I can't go more than probably about 70 ounces a day. So I actually have to watch how much I drink, or it'll have repercussions. It's the latest little blip. But I try to play along with my body, because if I don't, I'm probably going to have more blips. So whatever the body thinks is good for it or bad for it, I try to listen. Yeah, Thormel. No, your palate changes when you stop like drinking all that stuff. Yep. I love Mountain Dew when I was a kid. I can't touch it now. It's terrible. Oh yeah, drink mate. Nice. Squirrel, yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, Quindy. I hear it. You could try getting yourself like a soda. What's the soda thing? Like where it produces carbonated water, but you can add flavors. Like just flavors, not sweetener. I forget what those are called. Soda something. Oh, Mio. Yep. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, just like with painting, the bottom line of all dietary advice is do what works for you and your body. Just pay attention to what your gut is telling you. I almost got this whole leg. Almost got the whole leg. SodaStream, yeah, that my Bridget has one in her house. Her partner loves it. Okay, got a bit of a rounded highlight here. We'll go back and do more with that next time we are on this model. Get a little bit more here. So we managed to get, considering how fiddly this work is, we actually got a lot done today. So if you look at her from this angle, she looks pretty good. Ah, okay. Only does water. I see. Drink mate carbonates. Got it. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm with you, Twistoma. Most tap I don't like. Though there's pretty good tap in San Francisco. Our old apartment had excellent water. But here it's like, yeah, that's why I drink filtered. Oh, nice, Agent Langdon. Yeah, you just need to get back there. Yeah. Yeah, I bet, Quindy. Yeah, that does not surprise me. Yeah, I need to get back to there too. Luckily, my anger at the scale this morning is a pretty good motivator. Rage is a really good motivator for Anne. Wrath. The wrath of Anne has descended. Okay, so we got these. And now I'm going to get a little bit of a reflection here. Plenty clean water where you are. Good. Yeah, the house I grew up in was well water, but it tasted very minerally. And I just didn't like the taste of water there. But filtered I'm okay with, so we have a filter on our fridge, so I just do that. Alrighty, I think we're good. I think I'm just going to do one little highlight along the edge of this boot, and then I'm going to take Paw for her walk. Tiny little Paw. Right, Tiny Paw? I hear you back there. Everybody on stream says you're not tiny. They think I'm deluded. Yeah, they think I'm delusional, Paw. Tiny Paw. Tiny Paw who jumped on the bed this morning and probably punched me in the face with her paw. Yeah, spring water's good. When I went on the road, I got spring water for Kiki because sometimes when you travel with a dog or a pet, the water will be so different in another state, it will actually give them gastric upset. I experienced this with Leo, so I'm cautious when I first travel with a pet. Blazy was pretty good, and Kiki, it turns out, is pretty good. But there we go. So now we've got the double highlight here with the shadow in between. Okay. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Shiny. Shiny. She looks like she's like on a runway, like showing off her armor design. Tiny, yes, tiny dog. Ugh. Turgeon, that would drive me crazy. I did reverse osmosis for my saltwater fish tanks back when I did marine fish. Oh, nice. Oh, interesting, Hyper Bunny. It's good to know the cartridges work across them. Yeah. I think she does look like she's on the runway. I should just redo the base as a shiny floor. But yeah, that's what I want. I want overhead lights. Yep. Thanks, Crowley. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for hanging out and chatting about all the crazy stuff, guys. Like, I haven't had a diet talk in a while. I like food science. It makes me happy. And thanks, Inara, again, for mentioning that study. I'll go look it up. It'll influence what I buy in the future, for sure, for my stuff. Yeah, it's like I said, it's super titchy, Sragnon, but if you can keep your highlights real tight, and then it can look so shiny, because you've got all that dark, it makes it look shiny to have the bright next to the dark. So it's really, really eye-catching when you can pull it off. And this is, I would only do it on something like this that has a pretty full suit of armor. I think that's what makes it look the best. But yeah, I'm really liking it. So thanks, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. Tomorrow might end up being Old Spice Genie for one last day. Because I haven't gotten my box from Reaper yet. Oh, noes. Oh, no Crafty Creative, no Josh. Oh, my. So there's nothing today. Nothing. Ugh. That's so sad. So yeah, we might be Old Spice Genieing for one more day. We'll do more gold NMM, the intricate gold NMM maybe for one more day. And then we'll go to something new, because by then I should have my Reaper box. And that's got all sorts of new shinies in it. New shinies. So, okay, guys. Yeah, run off and paint something. Run off and paint something, everybody. Yeah, one last chance for the Old Spice Genie. Yep. Yeah, there we go. It's a polishing cloth, Dabber. You've got it. You've got it. All right, everybody. Thank you so much, and I hope I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.